ago I worked for a Greek man in London, and the first day I went into his office, his walls were rowed with A5 books. And he said to me, "Do you keep an idea book?" And I was 19 at the time, I didn't see the value in it. And he had, over the course of his years in business, had written lots and lots of ideas down. And he said, "Your mind will come up with ideas continuously, but you dismiss them, you don't record them, and you forget them." And he said, "It's so important for you to keep a record of your ideas." So now I've got a row of A5 books in my office where I have kept ideas. And some of those ideas gather dust. Some of them I will go back to and think, that might work now, or it might work in the future. So I would say, write your ideas down. Have you heard of stretcher-sizing? Stretcher-sizing. I'm going to get you to do a little stretcher-sizing. The humble pen. Stretcher-sizing essentially is about getting your brain to think in different ways about something. Any problem, any issue that you might have. So have you all got a piece of paper? Potentially. And a pen. You might have been given one at reception. And what I want you to do, I'm going to give you... Have any of you done this exercise before, by the way? No? Okay. So what I want you to do is I want to give you 30 seconds.
Does anybody need a pen?
Yeah. Anybody else need a pen? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write down all the uses for that object that you see on screen. Starting from now.
All the what?
All the uses for that object that you see on the screen.
Aside from writing with it.
That's all I'm going to say. Okay, stop. So, has anybody got 15 uses for that object on the screen? 15 different uses. 20. More than 20. Less than 15. So 15, I'll just call out the numbers and that you have 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, I feel like I have an option, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to find a friend and look at your ideas for this object and come up with an additional few if you can. So find a friend. Preferably somebody you don't know, because this is networking.
Sorry, I should have said.
Okay, Cassie, stop! So in your groups, anybody got 20? Come on! What? 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Alright, so the gentleman who had 17,
between us.
That's fine, absolutely, yeah, yeah. So the gentleman who is 17, have you done this exercise before?
No.
So the average number, to be honest, when you do this exercise, and I've done this with a number of groups, the average number that you come out with the first time round is about 3 to 5. So well done to you if you got 3 and upwards. The point of this exercise is to show that what you're looking at can be used for lots of different things. And maybe not just for the purpose that we're told you should use it for. So can I ask number 17, Mr. 17, can you share with us your 17 uses for a pen, please? And can the rest of you pay attention, and if there's anything different in his list, or if you have anything different in your list, take note. So, give me a shout out.
Writing, scratching, throwing, picking nose.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't say that one. Shooting elastics, fidgeting, rolling, clicking, scoring out things, drawing, doodling, pointing, showing colour, drawing directions, use case for storage, thinking,
Okay, thank you.
and chewing.
Okay, thank you. Anybody got anything to add to that?
Ruler.
A ruler?
Back scratcher and a weapon.
A back scratcher and a weapon?
Hole punch.
A hole punch? To stab somebody. See, I love this. I love this exercise because it starts to show who you're dealing with. We could do this exercise again. And we could come up with 200 uses for that pen. Easily. Okay, I've got 5 minutes. What's the point of that exercise also? You're faced with a problem, you can come up with 3 solutions. You talk to somebody, you can come up with more than 3 solutions. So don't necessarily, when you're thinking about an issue with your business, don't necessarily think you're the one that has to solve it. The point is it has to be solved. So regardless of who's going to solve it, because at the end of the day it benefits your business, bring people in. Right, I'll finish off on what-if questions. And this comes back to being a child and thinking like a child. And my kids are a great source for me of keeping me on my toes and making me think about things in a different way. So you're driving along in the car and one of my sons will say, what if chickens had purple wings and green bodies, Mummy? What if? What if you could hop on a bus to space right outside your front door? What if dinosaurs were like dogs or pets today? Like dogs are today as a pet. And what if you could have a riding lesson on a triceratops? We're so afraid of the what-if questions, but it's so important again with your business. What if? What if we do it this way? What's going to happen? What if we do it that way? What will happen? Is it going to be so bad if we completely change it around and do it in a completely different way? What if? So I challenge you to ask, with your business, what is your issue and what is your what if? I would also ask you to think about, if you have a business issue, what can you do about it? What can you do about it with colleagues, with suppliers, with customers? Ask them to give you ideas. And remember the rules that every idea is a good idea. Consider all the options. And start with the statement, have you? Okay? So, I'll give you an example. I have a business problem, and I ask Bryony. And Bryony will come back and say, have you thought of X, Y, and Z? Have you done this, that, and the other? Okay? So always start, if you're going to help somebody out, always start your statement with, have you? Killer phrases. A good idea, but costs too much, needs more research, let's sit on it for a while, let's form a committee, and it's been done before. You don't really want to hear those things, do you? What you want to be hearing is, now there's a good idea, we could do that, yes and, we could try that, great idea, brilliant. Now that's very, pie in the sky. You take this, at a level. And who can help you? Look further than the end of your nose. This is not your problem necessarily, or it's not for you to solve necessarily. Ask other people around you. What else can you do? Eliminate the blockers. And the blockers are the individuals or the processes that are involved in your business that are actually stopping you from doing what you need to do. Don't be afraid to dream dreams. Be open and prepared. It can be painful. If somebody comes up with a better idea than you had, it can be hard to take, because it might be your business. You want to take ownership of that idea. Try new and different things. We all know we're in a very competitive environment. We have to stay competitive. We have to create differentiators in our markets. Find quiet time. Make mistakes. And share your dream. And then let go and trust. And that's my creative thinking presentation finished. Any questions before we go? Yes.
Hi, my name is Martin Gilchrist. I'm an accountant with Gilchrist & Co. Accountants.
Okay.
And we're interested in using digital media in our business,
Okay.
but as a small practice we don't have the expertise. So what we did was we set up a Facebook group of people that we felt could support us in it, of about 12 people. And we have a weekly Google Hangout meeting where these people come together and we discuss topics that have been shared on our Facebook wall
Yeah,
over the
brilliant.
course of the week.
Brilliant.
The difficulty is that we're getting loads of brilliant ideas, but we're finding hard to crystallise down and focus on stuff that's second front. Do you have any suggestions in relation to how you've got a group of 12 people coming up with great ideas, how you crystallise them down to the good stuff that can really help the business?
Okay. And is this all done online?
All done online.
Okay. So, are you open to getting those 12 people in a room?
We can, but the thing is, they're all over the place. There's one guy
Oh,
in
right,
Australia,
okay.
there's
Alright,
a guy in
okay.
America, there's a guy.
Right. Okay. Okay. I mean, you can put in rating scales against your ideas, you know, and that will, you know, cull out some of the, you know, if you've got 10 ideas, you might take a poll against your group of 12 and say, well, which do you think? And, you know, you might be surprised that there's actually 3 strong runners. So I'll get rid of your initial sort of 7 or 10 ideas, or, you know, whatever it is. The next thing then, I suppose, is what is that idea addressing? What problem is it going to solve? Okay? If you can't necessarily answer that, then it's probably not an immediate idea to take forward. But if you have an idea that has got a business problem that can solve a problem immediately, then I would say that that's probably, you know, a front runner. Okay? Just talk me through how you get the ideas in. Do you pose the question then?
So what happens
Or
is
do people just...
there's a general idea. We want to be better at using digital media within our businesses.
Yeah.
So the conversations are all about sharing things like how do you produce a video clip, how do you use Prezi better, how do you whatever. Then what happens is those things are posted well. So during the week I come across something on my Facebook profile or my Twitter feed that I think is particularly useful. I post it to one and comment on it.
Okay.
There's then an agenda produced towards the end of the week on the things that we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
And then people add to the agenda or make comments on it. And then at a specific time on a Monday evening, people get together and have a conversation where we effectively work our way down the agenda and try to come out with some sort of results at the end.
Okay, well the other thing I would say is that, you know, often it can be about taking ownership. So if one person in the group is prepared to invest the time to say, I'm actually going to move this idea forward to a point where I think it's going to start to actually, you know, I need more people involved in it, or, you know, whatever it is, but, you know, they can become a talking shop. And you can come up with thousands of ideas, but you do have to have some sort of criteria there where, you know, the question, how do you move things forward? It eventually takes ownership. It does take that person, that individual, to say, I'm going to move this one forward. And it's also about the remaining 12 allowing that to happen. Because there will always be that 2 penneth coming in from, you know, member number 10 who will say, well, I would have done it differently, or I would have done it better, so why didn't we do it in the first place? So if you have somebody who says, you know what, I put my hand up and I'll take that idea on, fine. But this is what it means to the rest of the group. Does that answer your question? Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Just you mentioned your ideas books.
Yeah.
How do you actually find your ideas, or how do you recall where you've put them?
I use diaries. So I use A5 diaries, and if I've got something, you know, I have like at the minute I'm carrying a book called The Book of Awesome. I haven't got it in this bag, I've got it downstairs, but basically it's a book, it's called The Book of Awesome. If you go on to, do any of you use TED Talks?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember the name of the author, but anyway, he has a book called The Book of Awesome. And The Book of Awesome is snippets of experiences that he has said are awesome. And so I bought his diary, or I bought the year planner essentially. And so if I have an idea, I just scribble it down on that particular day. So it's, you know, some years I might be really disciplined and have loads in the first quarter, nothing for the end of the year, and then, you know, and other years I might be, you know, have ideas right the way through. But it's easier for me to keep them in years, to be honest with you. And some of those are just fun to look back at, and you're thinking, what the hell was I thinking? Where did that come from? You know? But look at that, The Book of Awesome. And that guy, you know, he really kind of highlights what we kind of forget is awesome. So for example, you're standing in the queue at the supermarket and you're you know, behind 3 trolleys, and then the checkout opens right next door and they say, come on over here, that's awesome, because you get to skip the queue. So it's, you know, but it's just food for thought. Any other questions? Hello?
I know a couple of people that would get a couple of sheets of paper and sit down for a couple of minutes and
Yeah.
empty out their thoughts on
Yeah.
it. Is there any diagrams that you use to, you know, put them on paper kind of thing? Or
No,
thoughts
not
or
necessarily. Mine is very rudimentary. I'll start off with, I could just start off with a circle, and then,
spider diagram?
exactly. So I don't, you know, there's no, it just depends on what the idea is. It could be just a note. It could be something that's passing, that I'm passing on the road. You know, like, I don't know, clever kind of road signage or something like that I've seen. And I'll just make a note of that. You know, ideas, they're just, I don't know, lots of tidbits of information, I suppose, as well. But I wouldn't have, it just depends on how I want to flesh out the idea. And that one idea could end up being that wall. Because you keep drilling down and drilling down and drilling down and drilling down. And I would get people to help me as well. Any other questions? You probably noticed your little tic-tac boxes. And the reason why I brought these today was that I thought that they were quite a good idea. A creative idea for tic-tac. I was going through the airport a couple of months back, and they've repackaged themselves. And we could all repackage ourselves in different ways. So they've gone from the normal retail size to the little miniature size. And that's an idea. So I know, I keep a lot of stuff, but that would be an idea. And today you can take the Tic Tacs home, and maybe you'll think about creative thinking after today. The other idea, I was phone call a couple of weeks ago to talk about the new labelling on Coca-Cola.
It's ridiculous.
It's not particularly new though, is it?
No, but it's terrible, the product.
They're trying to personalise it. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
More as sparkling into the system, or else we're doing it.
I think it's fantastic. My daughter doesn't drink Coke, but she uses a bottle now for water for every sports team she
Sure, I
goes.
wouldn't put anything in plastic.
It's,
That's my opinion.
yeah. The idea, the business idea model behind it is about buying the product on behalf of somebody else. Somebody said to me, it's a great grandma gift.
They said that idea, to be fair, we're now all talking about it. So now it's a good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Or a bad idea. So that's creative, level of creative thinking. In the title of my talk, I talked about ping pong balls. And why do I have ping pong balls here today? Yeah. Well, yeah. I went to a conference a couple of months back, and the night before, I glued some ping pong balls to business cards. And I went along to the conference, and I was in a conference of 450 people. I wasn't talking out. So how do I get myself noticed? I was looking out today, and I don't know whether or not. No, I didn't. So what I did was, I planted them around the conference centre. And 3 months later, I was emailing somebody who I'd never met before, and they said to me, "You're the lady with ping pong balls, aren't you?" And that was through LinkedIn. Ping pong balls cost me 20p. I'm not a huge organisation. I can afford to sit down and write 40 ping pong balls. Doesn't take a huge amount of time. But the fact that my business had been noticed at that particular conference. And what was more interesting was that 2 of the gentlemen who picked up my business cards had put them into their breast pockets and were walking around for 5 hours with a ping pong ball sticking out of their breast pocket. And they were being asked, "What's that?" And they showed them my business card and they said, "That's that lady there." Now, that's very rudimentary, but it worked for me. I'm a small business owner. I'm not a multinational. I have the time to do certain things for my business. That I thought was a creative idea. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. Think a little bit differently about your business. I think that's my time. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks very much. So folks, just a reminder, there's coffee upstairs and downstairs if you just want to get a breath of fresh air. And you mentioned that TED Talks. Have most people heard of TED Talks? Right, have most people heard of TED Talks? If you Google TED Talks, they're really good talks. They're actually coming to Dublin on the 14th of September. Yeah, in the National, I think one of the Grand Canal Theatre, one of the conference centre. TED Talks is something like what you have today, but you can go in and do innovation and you get all the innovation talks, and some of them are absolutely fabulous. If there's one, if you Google Ken Robinson, when you go into TED Talks, it's been looked about 2 or 3 million people. It's very interesting, for 10 or 15 minutes. So it's on 14th September and it's actually 30 quid, it's well worth it, Friday. Okay folks, out you go, I'm back in 10 minutes to whatever talk you want to. Thank you.
That's good to have the option. Wormholes and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, you know, maybe you can be looking at the ORT website, you can be looking at TED Talks, and you can actually sit there and try to
by getting your business known, so. They were lovely, they were 2 bouquets, and I went to run, you know, just in a bag like this, and I went to
you know, but it's good stuff, you know, just research stuff from back here, I like Steve Jobs. But it's good, you wouldn't have heard it fast. What's the university? Not accessible, I know, yeah, so we're back in the day when there's no choice. I saw it at 11 o'clock at night, you were a shift worker, you know? What about you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's totally caught my eye.
Well, it's self-improved. Can't fix the business. We got to every I really get any more. All they want. I want to think we want to but I mean, on forums, there's a lot of trying to get people to take creative risks. Most people find that very hard. But it's kind of funny, if you give them, you actually give them messages, which kind of is a counterintuitive thing to say, that you can't take up the money. But there is, if you kind of give people structure, people work better with structure. Okay, man, you've got clients who sell nationally, internationally, people want to use tools for the market, but a lot of email stuff as well. So the right thing to get people to create and say, we can't do this, just don't go with it. Let's make sure at the end of the email that was good enough. So the next time you send them an email, they'll open it, and they won't go and delete it. So, oh yeah, that's oh, it's bad. But the fact, in fairness, you're probably right there. The guy was, I think I've said that to my clients, probably use that as an excuse. My choice is this. Why are you writing this up? I want to send it. First purpose of this thing is to make sure that you open it the next week. If you have 4 pages, do not have that. You are not happy. You know what I mean? So, that's the reason. You're going to write this like you're talking to me. That can be hard for people. So within that sense of creativity, I say, well, here's the first line. Just get off the phone with the client and you wouldn't be listening to talk. Kick off, because now they have to talk like a conversation. You know what I mean? Just, so it's a sense, even just give them a little bit of structure. Then all of a sudden, it's like, I'll have to chat with somebody else. They bring out a story. And you kind of, it's a good start. So it's kind of, where if you just said something, give me something creative. You kind of walk away and come back and still.
How do you address them?
She's not here. She's sticking things up and have to do it more. Oh, yeah.